I'd like to introduce Mr. Stuart Nathan, Fire Commissioner, Baltimore City Fire Department, who will be our MC for this afternoon. Commissioner.
Again, I want to welcome everyone today to the annual Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial Program. This is a special place here in Annapolis for all of us, for all of those in the fire and rescue services. And this ceremony means so much to all of us. And we remember those who have paid the ultimate price. And we think of them today, but every day, as we go forward with this ceremony. At this point, I would like you all to please stand. Please rise for the presentation of colors by the Maryland Fire Service Honor Guard and remain standing. Tim Koenig will lead us in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Annapolis Area Christian School Madrigal Singers, directed by Cindy Bouchfies, will now provide their rendition of Maryland, My Maryland.
Flower in the dust, Maryland, my Maryland, thy gleaming sword shall never rust. Maryland, my Maryland, remember Carol's sacred trust, remember Howard's warlike thrust, and all the songbirds with their just. Maryland, my Maryland.
Vivian Morgan Boyd, chaplain for the Ladies Auxiliary Maryland State Firemen's Association, will come forward and deliver the invocation.
Almighty God, we pause this day, this hour, to honor and a memorial tribute to our fallen firefighters of the state of Maryland, who, in a moment of time, gave the ultimate sacrifice, serving our citizens with loyalty, honor, and unselfish devotion above and beyond the call of duty. For them, the last alarm sounded. We ask, O Lord, that you will hold their families, fellow firefighters and friends in your arms, and grant them peace and comfort that comes only from you. We ask your blessings, O Lord, upon all the men and women of the fire and rescue service of this state to continue in the service of the people. Grant each one a sense of abiding presence wherever they may be. Lord, today as in every day, we remember our fallen heroes. We love them, we honor them, and we miss them. In the name of who is the Lord of light, we pray. Amen.
At this point, I'd like to recognize certain special guests we have here with us today. First, we'd like to thank our host from the great city of Annapolis, Chief David Stokes, the Chief of the Annapolis Fire Department. We also like to recognize Doyle Cox, the President of the Maryland State Firemen's Association, Sandy Lutz, who's the President of the Ladies Auxiliary to the Maryland State Firemen's Association, Delegate Jim Malone, Baltimore County, and Mike Rund, head of Maryland Professional Firefighters. In addition to those officials and our elected officials, we would also like to thank all the chief officers and legislators from across the state who have taken time to join us today for this special ceremony. We also particularly want to recognize the families of all our fallen heroes from previous years who are with us today. It is now my distinct honor to introduce today's keynote speaker. Chief John Robert Ray joined the Anne Arundel County Fire Department as a recruit firefighter in 1977. During his more than 33 years with the department, he has risen through the ranks, culminating in his appointment as fire chief in 2008. Chief Ray holds a bachelor's degree in fire science from the University of Maryland University College. In addition, he has completed the National Fire Academy's Executive Fire Officer Program and has also attended Harvard University's program for senior executives in state and local government. Chief Ray is also a certified fire protection specialist. Most significantly, Chief Ray comes from a firefighting family, beginning with his father, who served almost 30 years with the Baltimore City Fire Department. Chief Ray lives in Arnold with his wife Bridget and daughter Annie, who was recently accepted into the prestigious architecture program at Syracuse University. An ardent supporter of the military, Chief Ray knows all too well the challenges that face our nation overseas, especially with respect to his son, Colin, who was a Navy SEAL. And we're also happy to have with us today his daughter Kate, who is married to a Marine officer. Chief Ray has been an incredible supporter of the Maryland Fire Rescue Memorial Foundation, and it is our deep honor to have him serve as our keynote speaker this year. Please welcome Chief Ray.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. I am humbled and privileged to be here with you this afternoon as we remember and honor the men and women of our Maryland Fire and Rescue Services who have made the ultimate sacrifice while serving to protect others. I have been blessed to have been able to serve as a member of the Anne Arundel County Fire Department for almost 34 years now. During my time with the department, I have witnessed many heroic acts by our members and displays of great compassion and understanding toward those in need. What makes the Fire and Rescue Service so unique are the people that wear the uniform and do for others, so that they might suffer less, always placing service above self. This year is unique in that soon we will recognize the 10th anniversary of 9/11, when 343 FDNY firefighters and 60 police officers from New York Police Department and the Port Authority gave their lives in service to others. That day, we lost 2,973 victims to an unprecedented terrorist attack on the World Trade Center towers, the Pentagon, and an unknown target in our nation's capital. On that day in 2001, United Airlines Flight 93 crashed in a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, en route to that unknown target in DC. The attack was foiled by patriotic citizens willing to risk their lives to protect freedom and others they had never met. Today, we honor our own who gave their lives protecting our way of life and risking it all for others they didn't know. But even before they made the ultimate sacrifice, they were putting their lives on the line day in and day out to ensure the safety of people they didn't know and probably would never know were it not for the circumstances that brought them together. Nevertheless, they were patriots willing to risk all for the greater good. To the Falkenham family, I cannot possibly know your pain, and I would never presume to tell you that I know how you feel, because I have never walked in your shoes. I must therefore limit my comments to those of someone who walks beside you in the unwavering desire to ease your pain, share the weight of your burden, and offer to you the observation that you are stronger than you might realize. Your courage dwarfs the act of any firefighter anywhere. From the inside, it might be difficult to see, because the act of breathing alone can be so challenging. And yet you do keep breathing, and some days that is enough. The very fact that you are here today, as hard as it may be, is a testament to your strength and an example of the same kind of courage that existed within Mark. Never doubt for 1 second that you possess the same qualities that Mark demonstrated every day of his life. Tragically, you can never go back to the life that you had before Mark died. I wish more than anything that that was not the case, but it would be wrong for me to stand before you and say that it is. And so forward is the only direction to go. Forward into a scary world filled with infinitely more questions than answers, but you are not alone, and you will never be alone. There will be good days and bad days, days when you wonder aloud whether you have the strength to carry on. You do. You have a greater strength of spirit than I or anyone could possibly imagine. Thank you for giving us the honor of serving with Mark. To all of the families of fallen firefighters, you are in our hearts and in our prayers every minute of every day. Your loved ones are with us as we ride out to serve others. They are with us as we crawl down smoke-filled hallways, and they are with us as we fulfill our duties. Our actions are not our own. We succeed because they are with us. Although their presence is not physical, their strength, commitment, and guidance have long since been ingrained in the very fiber of our being, and we are grateful to you for sharing your loved ones with us. Today is not a day of mourning, but a day of celebration of lives served well and duties performed with valor and dignity. Our fallen heroes willingly and knowingly swore an oath to protect and serve the public, knowing that to do so, there would be many times they would put themselves in harm's way. They were, in fact, heroes even before they were taken from us far too soon. They were heroes the day they swore that oath, and they were heroes each and every time they answered the alarm, putting their own lives at risk to protect the lives of others. On 9/11, and each time we suffer a line of duty death in Maryland, we make a promise to never forget. To never forget them, to never forget the ultimate sacrifice they made, to never forget the sacrifices that their brothers and sisters still serving in uniform make day in and day out. We also owe it to them to never forget our responsibility to strive to bring everyone home at the end of each call so that they may return safely to their loved ones. It is possible to do everything right and still suffer a line of duty death. There are risks inherent in this calling, and the only way to completely prevent deaths is to stop responding altogether, and thankfully, we will never do that. But this fact should not be used as an excuse to avoid doing everything in our power to keep our fellow brothers and sisters safe. The greatest honor that we can bestow upon the families of our fallen heroes is not what we are doing here today. The greatest honor that we can bestow on them is that their loved ones did not die in vain, because the lessons learned from their sacrifice and the sacrifices of their families have been applied to saving other firefighters' lives. These lessons include the following things we must do. We must always wear our seatbelts. We must ensure that we maintain our own health and fitness so that we are prepared to respond to the call for help. We must take the initiative to stop unsafe practices whenever we see them, regardless of our position in our department. We must focus greater attention on continuing to change the culture of the fire service, holding individuals accountable when safety standards are ignored. We must risk nothing to save nothing. We should never trade a firefighter's life for a piece of property. Our men and women are far too valuable. And we must advocate for enhanced fire prevention codes and laws. No firefighter ever died fighting a fire that was prevented. These are just some of the things that we can do to make our dangerous work as safe as it can be. We must also commit to lifelong learning and making every day a training day. While I'm not certain that we'll ever be able to avoid adding another name to this memorial, we owe it to every one of those already commemorated here to give it our very best effort. Today, we honor the men and women of Maryland who no longer answer the call. I believe they are with us, looking down in appreciation as we uphold our promise to never forget. And they are with us as we turn out for the next emergency, guiding us to be better, smarter, and safer in what we do, so that we give ourselves every reasonable chance to avoid adding another name to this memorial. In closing, I ask each and every member of our fire and rescue service family to honor our fallen heroes by putting safety at the forefront of every decision you make. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Ray, for those remarks and particularly for issuing that challenge to all of those in the fire and rescue services. I also wanted to add one introduction. We're pleased to have with us Senator Roby, James Roby from Howard County is also with us here today. Thank you. I'm humbled at this moment to introduce, representing the families of all Maryland fallen heroes, Jane Neville, whose son Brian from Baltimore County Fire Department is one of the many names listed on the Wall of Honor. Jane will give the family response.
Thank you. My name is Jane Neville. I am the other half of Dennis, who is here with me today. I'd like to thank Lieutenant Beard for the invitation to say a few words as a survivor. 2 years ago, Dennis and I attended this memorial service to honor our son, Brian. Brian was a Baltimore County paramedic who died of a sudden cardiac arrhythmia while on duty overnight, October 16, 2008, at Station 17. At 32, Brian died doing what he loved and dreamed of doing since he was a volunteer in Ellicott City at age 16. He left behind a wife, 3 children under the age of 6, and other family members who still grieve his death. To the Falcon Hand family, Dennis and I want you to know that we understand the emotions that you feel today and every day. We feel your pain and we grieve with you. To all the fire service members gathered here, please keep this family and all the families of the firefighters who have died in your thoughts, your prayers, and your hearts. Give them all, especially the children, your support, not just today, but in the months and the years to come. The challenges of living every day without our loved one never ends. After Brian's death, I was cleaning out a desk drawer in his bedroom, and I found this handwritten passage from Thoreau. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected in common hours. Mark, Brian, and all the men and women whose names appear on this memorial lived their dream of fighting fires and saving lives, and they did so with love and success. As the words on the front of the old Memorial Stadium read, "Time will not dim the glory of their deeds." Thank you.
Thank you. And providing the Memorial Foundation response is Gene Worthington, who is the president of the Maryland Fire Rescue Services Memorial Foundation.
Again, let me express my sympathy and condolences to the Falkenhand family, and welcome to our other survivors, and thank you for coming today. Sadly, we lost another brother firefighter, Mark Falkenhand, to tragedy. Today we come together to honor his service and pay respect by placing his name on the Wall of Honor. On behalf of the foundation, we want to thank all of you who expressed your sympathy and provided support to Gladys and the boys these past few months. However, before I proceed with my remarks, I would like for you to join with me in a moment of silence over the loss of another fire service leader, Bill Huttenlock, who left us this past week. Thank you. I really didn't know Mark personally, didn't know Gladys personally. However, I knew her father. I feel very confident that I have met both of them at English Council at a banquet for the junior firefighters some years ago. I attended those for several years, and yes, those were years ago, when possibly they were mentoring with the program, because this is a fire service family. I was reading a message from President Jacobowitz of the New York State Firefighters Association, probably his last article he wrote this year. I've known Dave for about 10 years now. But his article was entitled, "The Power of One. When we work together, we can accomplish so much." This is so true. The power of one. Everybody comes together to support the families of our fallen heroes, from the local membership, the community, and yes, the state, such as our foundation. We have created this memorial park to be that place where we remember forever the 396 who gave the ultimate. I would ask that you take the time to read the plaque over here on the wall between midnight and morning. The power of one, such as all of you who came today to show love and respect. The power of one, such as our combined honor guard from across the state who wanted to participate. The power of one, such as the Baltimore County Fire Department who gave a wonderful tribute, and to hear those moving remarks during Mark's funeral service. The power of one, such as the Maryland Fire Rescue Memorial Foundation, folks from all across the state coming together, and even here in the metro area, within sight of our state capitol, to provide this place of lasting honor. You cannot measure the impact this group has. Chief, I want to thank you for your remarks. Mrs. Neville, thank you for your remarks. Stan, thank you for being our MC. Thanks to our choral group who's been with us since day one. And thank you to the Falkenhand family. Our most sincere sympathy to you all. We will always remember Mark, as today you will have that opportunity to place his nameplate amongst the finest. Thank you.
call for the fire at 30 Dowling Circle in Hillendale came into fire dispatchers at 6:18 p.m. on January 19th, initially reported as a kitchen fire. Engine 11 from the Hillendale station was the first to arrive. The fire quickly escalated to 4 alarms with nearly 30 pieces of equipment and 100 fire personnel responding. Mark Falkenhan arrived with the Lutherville Volunteer Fire Company and entered the building with his partner Dennis Fulton to search for victims. As I recall, there was a report of people possibly being trapped in that apartment building. At 6:47 p.m., Mark issued a Mayday distress call. While his partner escaped through a window by diving off the balcony and sliding face first down a ladder, tragically, Mark was not able to make it out. Firefighters found him on the 3rd floor and removed him onto the balcony and down the ladder, where paramedics began administering advanced life support. He was transported to St. Joseph's Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Mark Gray Falkenhan was born December 26, 1967, in Middle River. Shortly after he graduated from Mount Carmel High School in 1986, he joined the Middle River Volunteer Ambulance and Rescue Company. He rose to the rank of chief and became a lifetime member. Mark married Gladys on November 11, 1993, and they had 2 sons, Christian and Garrett. Mark joined the Baltimore County Fire Department as an emergency medical technician in 1990 and remained with the department for 16 years. He was a paramedic, firefighter, and an instructor at the Fire Rescue Academy. He served at various stations throughout Baltimore County, including Woodlawn, Dundalk, Golden Ring, Essex, Eastview, and Fullerton, before retiring in 2006 to accept the job with the United States Secret Service. According to Baltimore County Fire Chief John Homan, Mark loved his family first, but his life was the fire department. You won't find a photo that doesn't show Mark with a broad smile that went clear across his face. Mark enjoyed everything about his life. We honor him today by carrying on his devotion to improving the fire service through continuing education and training. At this time, we invite Gladys, Christian, and Garrett Falkenhan, accompanied by members of the Lutherville Volunteer Fire Company, to the Wall of Honor to unveil Mark's name.
Never tire, walk and never tire.
Thank you. Now I'd like to ask representatives of the Maryland Fire Service to step forward and participate in the ceremonial wreath laying in honor of those who have paid the ultimate price. Would those who can stand, please stand for this part of the service.
Honor guard! Attend! Shoulder! Hold! Ready! Cut! Freeze and halt! Shoulder! Halt! Ready? Cut!
I would ask that the Browning family please come forward. Today we want to be part of our program, a dedication of our Circle of Remembrance. When Robin passed, the foundation wanted to do something in recognition of her years of service. It was our desire to recognize Robin and others in the future for their years of dedicated service in making this memorial a reality, without displaying any disrespect to our fallen. As we did our renovation and upgrade to the park, we placed a circle just off the remembrance area for folks to sit and think about those earlier times. it seemed appropriate that we could take this circle, entitle it the Circle of Remembrance, and dedicate it to the folks who have given so much for so many years. I would ask that our Vice Chairman, Bob Ringel, please come forward. We had a plaque made, and we'll be installing it on the brick pedestal adjacent to the Circle of Remembrance today. To the Browning family, we are asking that you accept this on behalf of Robin and the other names to be added in future years. Vice Chairman Bob Ringel will escort you, the Browning family, to place the plaque on the pedestal in recognition of Robin. I also have a nameplate with Robin's name on it to be placed there. While that is going on, I would ask that President Doyle Cox and President Sandy Lutz please come to the podium. We're very fortunate to have again today another gift to the foundation from our presidents, and with that, I'll let them speak.
Thank you. Jane, on behalf of President Lutz and myself, I'd like to present you the foundation with the trumpet in remembrance of all.
Dole and Sandy, officially on behalf of the foundation, we accept your gift. I know this came as a Christmas item that in lieu of giving out little trinkets and stuff to the membership of MSFA, they decided on their own to do this. And what a great honor this is. And this will be proudly displayed at all of our future ceremonies, and thank you very much.
As this special ceremony draws to a close, I'd like to ask Reverend Kevin Bacon, Chaplain Commander, Baltimore City Fire Department, to lead us in the benediction.
Let us stand. Now unto him that is able to keep us from falling, and to present us faultless before the presence of his glory, with exceeding joy, to the only wise God, be majesty, dominion, and power, both ever and forth. Let us all say amen. Amen.
As you leave today, let us all remember the solemn promise we have made here, to never forget those who have sacrificed their lives to protect us. Thank you for joining us here today. Please be safe in your journeys home. This will conclude the ceremony.